courtroom in the BART murder case stopped the trial for a few minutes today.
And there were tears on the witness stand and anger from the audience. Former BART officer Johannes Mehserle sobbed as he testified about shooting unarmed passenger Oscar Grant in the back. ABC 7's Cecilia Vega joins us now from Los Angeles, where the judge sent a spectator to jail. Cecilia.
He did, Cheryl. This was an emotionally charged day from start to finish here in L.A. It started with the judge ordering a young man from Youth Radio that he faced contempt charges because the court learned that he had a device that had the ability to record inside the courtroom. That, in this particular courtroom, is forbidden. Then, while Mehserle was on the stand sobbing about the minute that he killed Oscar Grant, another courtroom observer stood up in the middle of court, shouted a profanity at Mehserle while he was on the stand. Then this young man opened up his shirt and so that the jury could see that he was wearing an Oscar Grant t-shirt underneath. He's now in jail. Johannes Mehserle cried on the stand while talking about the moment he looked down at his right hand and realized he just fired his gun and not his taser into the back of an unarmed passenger. He told the jury that just seconds before that, he struggled to pull Oscar Grant's hand from underneath his body and that Grant dug into his front pocket. Mehserle said, "I made the decision at that point to tase him. I knew the right front pocket to be a place where people keep guns." But it was the former officer's testimony about the moment he pulled the trigger that sparked an outburst in the courtroom. Mehserle said, "I remember looking at my right hand and seeing I had my gun in my right hand. I didn't know what to think. It just shouldn't have been there." Oscar Grant's mother stormed out of the courtroom.
It's been almost a year and a half, and he hasn't offered any apologies. He hasn't said it was a mistake. And now he's sitting on the stand crying. I've been crying every day.
A young man observing the trial stood up and shouted an expletive at Mehserle and told him to save the tears. Sheriff's deputies took him away in handcuffs, and Judge Robert Perry ordered him arrested for contempt.
He seemed to be the only one who really had the guts to express it, because a lot of us were holding back, and you know, if it wasn't going to be him, it was going to be somebody, because the tension in there was so tense.
There were protests outside the courthouse. Inside, Mehserle told jurors he always believed using his taser was the only option on the Fruitvale platform that morning. After he shot Grant, he said Grant was hysterical but still talking. Grant told him, "You shot me." Mehserle said he tried to keep him alive. He had Grant's blood on his hands. Prosecutor David Stein grilled Mehserle on why he claimed he was so poorly trained as a BART officer. He also pressed him on whether his testimony was rehearsed. Mehserle said, "I think about this event every single day of my life. I go home and wake up, I think about it. So in essence, I've been preparing since this happened." Now, under cross-examination today, Mehserle also admitted that he never told anyone, not even his closest confidant, colleagues on the BART force, that this shooting, in his opinion, was an accident, that he meant to fire his taser. As for that young man who stood up in court today and yelled at Mehserle while he was on the stand, he's identified as 24-year-old Timothy Killings from Oakland. This evening, he remains in custody and is being held in contempt of court. Reporting in Los Angeles, Cecilia Vega, ABC 7 News.
Cecilia, thank you.
Oh, we want to get some more insight today into what happened in the Mehserle trial today.
ABC 7, the legal analyst Dean Johnson is in the newsroom. Dean, it's always risky, obviously, for a murder defendant to testify. From what you're seeing, did that risk pay off?
I think not. The one thing that Mehserle did achieve was that he humanized himself to the jury. He's no longer just the guy sitting in the defense chair. He's Johannes Mehserle. And his emotional affect was appropriate to the situation. Content-wise, however, I think he may actually have hurt his case.
What do you think he said that might have hurt the case, though?
Well, just the language we quoted earlier. He said that he heard a pop, and then he looked down and saw that he had his gun in his hand. If that's true, that means that he made the most serious decision a police officer can make. He discharged a weapon at a human being, and he wasn't even looking where he was shooting.
Dean, he cried on the stand today, as we reported. That's when Oscar Grant's mother got up and left the courtroom. Now, assuming Mehserle's tears were genuine, does that help his case?
Yeah, but the big issue there is it genuine? Remember, 80% of all communication is nonverbal. If he comes across even for a microsecond as being rehearsed or prepared, he's doomed, and the jury will discount his testimony altogether.
And Dean, Mehserle is going to face cross-examination, so what do you expect the prosecutors to try to do?
Well, the main thing they want to do is they want to slow down this time frame. They want to go through every micro decision that he had to make before pulling that trigger. And they want to say either he went through those decisions, in which case he was deliberate and premeditated, or he didn't, in which case he shows a disregard for human life.
Dean, thanks very much. We'll see more of you at 6 o'clock tonight. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dean. Well, we are getting our first listen this evening to the BART police dispatch tapes from the morning of the Oscar Grant shooting. And what starts off as very calm communications of a disturbance turns much more frantic after the shooting. Listen.
Hey, firm code 3 for a gunshot victim.
Tommy, see if I can get the DSW to back. Sorry, I have to go to check here.
Now, we have the entire 9-minute dispatch tape posted at abc7news.com, along with all of the new amateur video released by the court this week. You'll find it on the front page of our website under See It on TV.